Hello and welcome back to the quick vlog. In our previous video, we have talked about the different type of comparison functions, and in today's video, we will be talking on the different type of math functions. Okay, as per the name, we have got uh, some math functions, and these math functions are used for operating, or these math functions are used for executing some mathematical manipulation over the data. So we are going to start our first function from ABS. ABS also stands or also means to the absolute. So ABS will give us the absolute value, and here the absolute value means it will give non-negative values. So here we have operation going on, that is we are going to deduct the budget by 5,000. So this 5,000 is just an example. We can keep any value, but we are going to use 5,000 in this case because we want some unwanted, or we want some negative data, negative results as well to test the ABS. Okay, we have a field called digital piggy that has budget of 3,000 only, and normally if we subtract 3,000 by 5,000, it should give minus 2,000 as the result. But in the case of this ABS function, it will give us the non-negative value. That means it will remove the minus, or it will remove the negative, and it will only give the positive part of the, or it will only give the non-negative value of the result. So if we execute this query, we will get all the budget after differencing with or after differencing by 5,000. And in the case of the digital p, our expected answer was minus 2,000, but as per this AVS or absolute value function, this will give us only positive value. So I hope you have got some ideas about the AVS, and it is basically used for, let us suppose, it is used in the case where the required answer cannot be negative, like we can say the difference of age between father and son, or the difference of same budget cannot be negative, and years cannot be negative. So and then after we can say distance cannot be negative. So these values which or those terms whose values cannot be negative, we can use the ABS for those conditions. And our second function is round function, and it is basically used to round up the value. So in this case, we are going to round up the budget value, and this it is going to round up the budget in terms of thousand as per our this condition. So if there is some record like 5,001 rupees or $5,001 or any, which is not in the format of thousand, or which have irregular, or which has not exactly a thousand value, like if there is no okay, we have already all the values in thousand. So let us suppose the value of the quick block website project was, or the budget was around 5,422, and after this, if it will try to round off the budget in its nearest thousand. That means its nearest thousand will be obviously 5,000, because the value should exceed 5,500 in order to round up towards 6,000. So our expected answer will be 5,000. So I hope you have got some knowledge about the round function as well. Now, our next function is SQRT. So the SQRT is basically a square root function. So it will find us the square root of the budget. So if we execute this query, we will get the square root of every budgets. Like we had, I guess the value was 10,000. So the square root is obviously 100. And then after these values are the square root of the budget of the original project table. And as per the name, the power function, the next function is used to find the power of the is used to return uh, the power of the specific exponent. Like if we mm, keep or if we provide the power as 2, that means it's squaring the budget. So after executing this function, we are getting the squared budget of the original project table. I hope you have got some knowledge on power as well. Now our next value is our next function is CEIL. So it is also a bit similar because it rounds a number up to the nearest integer. Like we are going to select name, and this is the function, and budget divide by 1000 as budget underscore CIL, and then after we have another that is floor budget divide by 1000 as budget floor. So these are the uh, or we can say these are the function for finding the nearest or rounding of the nearest integer. So basically CIL is used to round up the number in the increasing order. Like if there was suppose a value whose round up would be near to, suppose it was let us suppose 4.3. Okay, if the value was 4.3, then as per our basic understanding, it should round up to the 4. But if we use CEIL, then it will always go up for rounding up the value. So it will show us 5 because it will only round up by increasing the value. So like we have a budget. Let us take the budget of the first project, that was 10,000. This is the square version, and if we divide the 10,000 with the 1,000, it will give us 10. Then after, if okay, that is not that is already exactly 10, so there will not be any round up operation. But if there was, suppose let us suppose there was uh, 2200. Okay, if there was 2200, the expected result should be 2.2. And if we execute the CIL function, it will directly round up to the 3, because it will only go in the upward direction for rounding up. Similarly, if in the floor or the function floor, it will basically go just opposite, like CIL, that will be decreasing the value to round up. Suppose there was a value of 5.7, then it will round up by making the value to 5. But our according to our basic understanding, the value should be rounded up by changing the value by 6. But in the case of floor function, it will always go in the downward direction for rounding up the value. And basically there is another, that is sum. The sum, as per the name, it will add all the values in the set or in that column. Suppose there is a budget column, so it will find all the budget. It will add all the budget and find the total budget. And similarly, there is average, so it will add up all the budget and divide by the number of project, and it will find the average number and give us the average budget of the whole table of project. And then after we have the minimum, that is minimum function is used to find the smallest value in the set or smallest value in the column. And we have the max, that is used to find the maximum budget in the project budget, in the field budget. Okay, let's execute this and let's see. Okay, we have the minimum budget as 3,000 and maximum budget as 15,000. And if we see in the sum, we will find the total budget as 74,000 and average as 9,250. So our average value will always be in decimal, because in this case only it is a absolute value. Otherwise it might sometime there might be a fractional values. So for that we are going to use, or it will be default a float value, and similarly a decimal a float or the decimal value. And similarly if we execute this function of CIL and floor, this will round up to the nearest integer, and because we have divided the original budget with 1,000, so the numbers are coming in this way. Uh, but if we suppose, let's change the value by, let us keep 0 to, then after 1, sorry, 1 1. Okay, this is okay. This is a irregular number, so our expected answer should also come into a point value. And after this, if we execute this, the result will be changed. Okay. So the value is, by this table we can get that the value is quite different than our previous value when we divided by 1,000. So this function CIL is basically going in the upward direction for or increasing the value for rounding up, and this floor is decreasing the value for rounding up. And if the value is already a absolute value, that means if the value is already like 10, or if the value is already like 11, then it will not do anything. It will just print out the value like this 10, because the exact value of the budget divided by 1,000 will be 10, because the budget of the first project was 10,000, so it will give us 10. So no need to round up in this case. So I hope you have got some knowledge on the math function. These were few math functions. There are multiple other math functions also, but these math functions have all the concepts, or I hope you have got all the concepts about these math functions, and hope to see you in next video. Thank you.